I was not served any type of notice regarding a foreclosure.
My understanding is this is not a judicial foreclosure, it's a process foreclosure. And so I don't know that there is any action pending. I know
And I've been here for 30 years. And
I understand. Good morning, Ms. Guest.
Good day, Your
Hello.
Honor.
So, a couple of things I want to let you know, Ms. Guest. First, we are here because you had filed an action against Shellpoint Mortgage Servicing, doing business as NewRez LLC, here in Fulton County. I believe you filed this action on December the 23rd, and I want to apologize to you for some confusion that was associated with whether or not you should have gone to the presiding judge or to the judge who was assigned to your case. And I am the presiding judge for this week. And so as a courtesy to Judge Williams, who is your assigned judge, I am going ahead and hearing this matter as a presiding matter.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
And you're welcome. And I did have a chance to review the matter, and I did see the information that you submitted to my chambers, an affidavit that purports to be of service on NewRez, and also basically a motion or pleading in support of your temporary restraining order action.
That is correct.
Yeah. So my understanding is that the property at 220 Gage Court is set to be foreclosed, or there's a foreclosure sale scheduled for that property Tuesday. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. So Ms. Guest, here's a couple of things. I did have a couple of questions. So your pleading title, Maureen Guest, appearing specially as successor in interest to the obligor of record, Maureen Guest Sullivan. I was a little confused about what that all meant, and if that was you with a different name, or maybe that was your mom, or I wasn't really sure what that meant.
No, actually, Maureen Guest Sullivan is the name that's recorded, and Maureen Guest is the plaintiff, and I'm making a special appearance on behalf of Maureen Guest Sullivan. And so Maureen Guest Sullivan is a former name. Sullivan, when I purchased the home,
right,
it was Maureen Guest Sullivan. So I'm stepping in as Maureen Guest as the successor in interest for the borrower, Maureen Guest Sullivan. So that's just the name that's reflected on the record, basically.
Okay. And I understand that, but even now, the way you're saying it, are you the same? Are you Maureen Guest?
I am Maureen Guest. Yes,
okay.
I am the one that has filed. Yes,
Thank you.
Your Honor.
That's what I was trying to clarify. Thank you very much. Okay, so I did take a look at the petition that you filed, and there are procedures for the court to consider whether or not a foreclosure sale can be stayed, which is what I understand your request to be. And so if you want to very briefly outline the basis of your challenge, I will hear, you can do so now.
Okay, well, my purpose for filing is that I'm here today to request for a temporary and preliminary injunctive relief to preserve the status quo concerning the property at issue. There's a lot of factors involved, and I wanted to limit my appearance today and didn't want to stand too much on merits for the reason that I do have a complaint that has been filed into the court. However, there has been litigation between Shellpoint Mortgage Servicing and myself. I opened up a quality written request to establish authority and ownership of the mortgage. And so what has happened is that it's been back and forth since July. And so it's just they have yet to establish authority to enforce this particular account. And number two, I was not served any type of notice regarding a foreclosure.
Okay. Thank you for that information. So the assessment that the court has to do when it's deciding whether or not to grant a temporary restraining order, and particularly to restrain a foreclosure sale, is whether or not there are a lot of factors. One of those factors is whether or not the person can demonstrate the likelihood of success on the merits. And so I did receive the notice that you sent regarding service on Shellpoint Servicing, doing business as NewRez on an address in Fort Washington, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
And one of the issues that I have noticed, and I think may be a problem for your ability to recover here in Fulton County, is that NewRez, although it appears that perhaps you were able to get something in the hand of someone in Washington, NewRez is registered to do business in the state of Georgia, and they have a corporate service agent in Gwinnett County, which means
Mm-hmm.
that for purposes of being sued, they are a resident of Gwinnett County.
Wow.
And not Fulton County. And
Mm-hmm.
so, unfortunately, while I know this is confusing to most people because the property that you are wanting to address is located in Fulton County. And so the foreclosure action, to the extent it's proper, I have no opinion about it because I don't know anything about it, but it would properly be brought in Fulton County. But the law is pretty clear that that an action to restrain a foreclosure proceeding is a personal suit against the defendant, and it has to be brought. It's not an action related to the land. And so that means that if you want to sue NewRez to restrain, I know it doesn't make sense, but if you want to sue NewRez LLC to restrain them from foreclosing your property in Fulton County, you have to sue them in Gwinnett County. I don't actually have any authority to enter an order against NewRez restraining that foreclosure. Now, theoretically, if there was a foreclosure action in Fulton County, that might be one thing, but my understanding is this is not a judicial foreclosure, it's a process foreclosure. And so I don't know that there is any action pending. And all of that is a lot of gobbledygook, Ms. Guest, and I don't mean to overly complicate it, but basically the answer is that I can't give you the relief that I can't stay that I can't grant you a TRO because I don't have any authority over NewRez, because NewRez is not an entity that is registered, that is a resident of Fulton County. They have to be sued in Gwinnett County.
Okay.
And so I can't give you legal advice, but if you wanted to attempt to file this action in Gwinnett today, then you might still be able to get heard on an emergency basis before the foreclosure tomorrow morning.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
I know
And I've
it.
been here for 30 years, and
I
yeah,
understand.
I understand too. Now, can I, and I totally understand everything you've just stated. And so really any points to emphasize wouldn't really be relevant today because you don't have the authority to actually, it's not even necessary. Oh, wow.
No, and I'm so sorry, but it's just as to the factual, I understand that you probably had a whole presentation relating to the factual background, but at the end of the
I
day, the issue is that even if I were persuaded that you were entitled to temporary relief from the foreclosure, I don't have the authority to order NewRez to do anything because NewRez is an entity that is registered in Gwinnett County, and therefore you'd have to get Gwinnett County to do it.
Okay. And I could possibly have time today to do that, you believe?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah, I've certainly seen people walk in on one day and get a TRO entered that day or the day after. So it is possible, but again, I can't give you legal advice. I can just tell you that, if you wanted to try and get the same relief that you were seeking in this court, you would need to go to Gwinnett County to do
I
that.
would need to go to Gwinnett County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Oh, wow. I think
Well,
that's cutting
I'm
clear.
very sorry for that, Ms. Guest, but I do appreciate your understanding. What I'm gonna do is enter an order that says that because NewRez has its registered agent in Gwinnett County, that venue is not proper in Fulton County, and therefore I cannot enter the TRO. And
Okay.
then good luck to you with as you proceed if you attempt to get relief in in Gwinnett County. Okay.
Okay. I really appreciate it. Thank you
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
very
Again, I
much.
am sorry that I could not assist.
No, it's quite all right. Thank you again.
This emergency hearing centers on a last-minute request for a temporary restraining order, commonly referred to as a TRO, filed by Ms. Guest to halt a scheduled non-judicial foreclosure sale of her property. The plaintiff alleges that Shellpoint Mortgage Servicing, doing business as NewRez LLC, failed to establish lawful authority to enforce the mortgage and did not provide proper foreclosure notice, raising challenges under mortgage servicing and due process principles. However, the court never reaches the merits of those claims. Instead, the case turns entirely on venue and personal jurisdiction. Under Georgia law, an action seeking to restrain foreclosure is classified as a personal action against the lender, not an action in rem against the property itself. Because NewRez LLC is registered in Georgia with its registered agent located in Gwinnett County, the defendant is legally deemed a resident of that county. As a result, the Fulton County Superior Court lacks authority to issue injunctive relief against the defendant. The presiding judge therefore denies the TRO without prejudice, citing improper venue, and explains that any emergency relief must be sought in Gwinnett County, even though the property itself is located in Fulton County. In short, the foreclosure was not upheld on legality. The request failed strictly on procedural grounds, not substance.